Знания, необходимые для успешной адаптации. Присоединяйтесь к нам, чтобы встретиться с нашими особыми гостями и нашей командой. Это отличная возможность для общения, сетевых связей и создания долгосрочных дружеских отношений с соотечественниками. Все желающие приглашаются. Вход всегда бесплатный и предоставляются закуски. Для регистрации звоните по номеру 971 244 22 28 или посетите сайт www.slavicvote.org для получения дополнительной информации. Все остальные детали предоставляется после регистрации. Еще раз, звоните по номеру 971 244 22 28. Slavic Vote. Ваш голос, ваше сообщество.
Новости региона, выборы, кандидаты, стремления. Новая программа Slavic Vote Live. Каждую неделю в прямом эфире. Slavic Vote Live дает голос славянской общине по всему северо-западу. Мы говорим и информируем о важном в Вашингтоне, Орегоне, Калифорнии. По четвергам в 17:00. Присоединяйтесь к прямому эфиру на 10:40 АМ. Ищите Slavic Vote в соцсетях. Мы намерены продолжать продвигать свое видение и оказывать любую необходимую поддержку сообществу, чтобы изменить ситуацию к лучшему. Slavic Vote Live.
Внимание! Редакция медиахолдинга Slavic Family не несет ответственность за содержание рекламных сообщений и авторских программ.
Добрый день, меня зовут Дима Сашенко, вы слушаете передачу Slavic Vote Live. Мы, как всегда, приходим на эти волны, чтобы информировать, чтобы рассказать про что происходит у нас в нашем городе по поводу выборов, по поводу законопроправителей или законопроектов. И вот как сегодня, как обычно, мы приходим, чтобы поговорить, что происходит насчет в этом году. Я знаю, многие, я думаю, знают, что в этом году у нас выборы проходят, президентские выборы и также другие выборы. И вот мы бы хотели бы сегодня немножко поговорить об этом и немножко объяснить, какие разные выборы, потому что многие могут слышать, что primaries или предварительные выборы, или простые выборы, генеральные выборы, что это все значит. И вот мы сегодня немножко об этом поговорим. У нас сегодня Андрея и Ярослава нету, но у нас сегодня гость, который мне поможет сегодня с нашей передачей. Снежана, добрый вечер, как у тебя дела?
Здравствуйте, все хорошо, как
Отлично.
у вас?
Спасибо.
Супер.
Очень приятно, что ты приехала и поможешь нам сегодня поговорить о этой теме. Значит, ты уже давно в этой теме тоже уже занимаешься, участвуешь и активно по поводу иметь контакты с кандидатами и также разговаривать и объяснять это твоей комьюнити, и также помогаешь нам тоже. Вот расскажи быстренько, коротенько, как ты зашла в эту такую тему.
Да, конечно. Здравствуйте всем. В тему зашла, можно сказать, когда у нас были Governor Кейт Браун, и когда мы начали голосовать, чтобы убрать ее с офиса. Это где это все и началось. С моей стороны, когда я начала быть очень активной. Также уже это будет 5-й год, как я общаюсь с кандидатами и с политиками, и которые в сейлами.
Да, да, отлично.
Yeah.
Отлично, спасибо. Значит, мы обычно в этом году, это, как все знают, 2024, это такой президентский год, выбирают президента или перебирают. И в этом году будет такой рематч с президентом Трампом и с президентом Байденом. И будет очень интересно, я думаю, смотреть. И я думаю, в это время обычно все начинают немножко больше вникать и, как говорится, pay attention,
Да.
потому что обычно все 3 года перед этим все немножко как tune out или просто уже отдыхают, да, а потом они включаются опять после 4 года. Но мы всегда напоминаем, что это неправильно, потому что каждый год проходят выборы.
Абсолютно.
И не забывайте, что не только президентские выборы каждые 4 года, каждый год имеют выборы. И даже пару раз в году имеют выборы.
Да, пару раз в году, и смотря в какой эре люди живут также, потому что есть выборы на город, и есть выборы на штат, и есть города на county.
Да.
Это 3 разных вида и 3 разных возможности, где можно свой голос дать.
Да. И вот сегодня мы скоро сейчас представим еще нас гости в студии. Они балансируются на позицию такую, которую мы немножко сегодня поговорим. Это получается House Representatives. Обои они балансируются на эту позицию. Это штатовская позиция. Это, получается, те люди, которые представляют их округи, или, можно сказать, регионы, или district, и там они больше, мы с ними немножко больше поговорим, и они объяснят себя. Просто мы с ними давно уже общаемся, ты, Снежана, с ними дружишь очень близко,
Да.
и вот мы хотели их сегодня пригласить, чтобы они немножко о себе рассказали, потому что также многие наши славяне, которые живут в городе Орегон, они будут за них голосовать или будут голосовать за те позиции, и они, конечно, могут выбрать. Мы каждый год выпускаем такой материал, который кандидаты, которым мы, можно сказать, рекомендуем или просто советуем, или точнее выставляем имена тех кандидатов, которые ближе стоят к славянским ценностям.
Абсолютно
Конечно,
верно.
бывают кандидаты не идеальные, часто не идеальные кандидаты, но они ближе стоят к нашим ценностям, чем там другой кандидат, да. И вот
Да.
мы помогаем, чтобы выставить все эти кандидаты, и вы уже можете сами выбирать. У нас, конечно, мы с прошлого года, мы уже немножко по-другому начали, чтобы людей не сильно затруднять, чтобы они каждого кандидата изучали. Мы просто уже выставляем уже одного кандидата, который, можно сказать, получил самый высокий балл, можно сказать, да, и тот кандидат вы можете проголосовать, если вам интересно этот кандидат. И вот, конечно, мы не можем, как организация, как говорится, endorse или просто дать такую поддержку официальную, потому что мы не коммерческая организация и не партийная организация, но мы можем рассказать, какой кандидат самый близкий к нашим ценностям. И вот они, большинство все заполняют такой бланку, где они стоят на каждом вопросе, где, можно сказать, у нас есть, скажем, 10 ценностей, которые наше славянское общество очень сильно стоят, и вот они заполняют эту планку, чтобы рассказать, где они стоят. И если вам интересно каждого кандидата больше информации, вы можете нам написать, позвонить, и мы больше вам расскажем. Я думаю, те, кто нас слушают, которые живут в Вашингтоне, у них, кстати, на прошлой неделе, если не ошибаюсь, были тоже выборы.
Да.
И вот многие, может быть, получили, даже не ожидали. Может быть, многие ожидали и не получили бюллетени. И вот это тоже важно понять, как правильно зарегистрироваться, чтобы вы получали ваши бюллетени. Как ты обычно объясняешь людям, если они тебе звонят и говорят, что мы не получили бюллетень или там еще какая-то проблема? Как ты обычно объясняешь?
Самое главное, когда такая ситуация происходит, это, конечно, идти в County Election Office и предоставить свои данные, свой лайсенс или информацию, которая говорит, кто ты. И в том случае также сказать, что я не получил ballot, но, Дима, тоже эту информацию можно проверить на интернете.
Да.
Каждый человек, который голосует, может зайти на Secretary of State website и посмотреть, получил их ballot или нет, отправлен он был им или нет, и на какой адрес. Также там написано, за кого, какой партии они, республиканцы или еще так далее. Там все написано, но если человек не получил свой ballot, и он проверяет на веб-сайте, и там написано, что они отослали, это, конечно, информация, которая очень надо обратиться к Elections Office и сделать так, чтобы это все исправило, чтобы ваш голос считался.
Да, и не забывайте, если вы переехали, если вы, может быть, просто поменяли какую-то информацию, вы не получите бюллетень. Вам нужно обновить это все и все это выставить, чтобы вы могли получать по самому новому адресу. И вот я, например, недавно переезжаю, мне нужно будет позвонить и поменять мой адрес. Я, кстати, переезжаю и живу прямо напротив избирательного участка. Мне будет очень легко, я могу просто выйти и поговорить с ним прямо напрямую. И вот очень удобно будет. Да, это, можно сказать, одна из таких вопросов, потому что люди нам звонят и спрашивают, почему не получили бюллетени. И вот если вы переехали, вы, может быть, забыли обновить эту информацию. А также, если вы живете в Орегоне, это очень важно сейчас, чтобы люди нас услышали, что вы, может, не получите бюллетень, даже если вы правильно зарегистрированы, или просто вы зарегистрированы, но вы не выбрали партию.
Да.
Потому что очень много людей нам тоже пишут, спрашивают, мы получили бюллетень, но там нету президента. Почему нету президента или нету таких других кандидатов, которые, может, они ожидали? Обычно такие партийные кандидаты, которые там республиканцы или демократы, они не видят их. И вот мы объясняем, что если вы неправильно зарегистрировались, вы не получите бюллетень или не получите полный бюллетень. Что это обычно значит? Можешь объяснить людям?
Если не полный, конечно, как ты говоришь, надо абсолютно баллотироваться и голосовать за выбрать, в какой партии вы хотите быть.
Да.
Это самое главное. Чтобы получить тот баллот, где вы можете голосовать за тех людей, которые также поддерживают ваш голос, ваши понятия, вашу веру и так далее. Так что это очень важно, я считаю.
Да, так точно, да. Если вы когда вот многие люди, когда регистрируются, они просто даже не думают, просто выбирают там галочку, что без никакой партии, потому что они хотят типа стоять в какой-то партии. Это не значит, что вы вступаете в партию, это просто значит, какую партию ближе вы голосуете.
Да.
И вот очень важно, чтобы вы выбирали. И вот если вы сейчас не знаете точно, если вы выбрали, или вы, может, забыли, или, может, вы когда-то просто выбрали непартийную позицию, и вы хотите проголосовать в ближайшие выборы, которые будут в мае, вы должны пойти на веб-сайт и заполнить или обновить, или поменять, чтобы у вас была партия. А так вы просто не будете голосовать в этих предварительных выборах.
Да,
будут.
Дим, еще я хочу добавить, что если вы были в ДМВ и вы меняли, вам надо было новый лайсенс взять или какую-то информацию поменять, как со мной случилось, я пошла, мне надо было новый лайсенс обновить, и моя партия исчезла. За меня поставили, что я ни за кого не голосую, non-partisan.
Да.
Меня поставили. Это очень важно, потому что было время, 2020 год, когда очень большая election был, где нам надо было за президента голосовать. И хорошо, что я проверила в момент, когда я проверила, потому что если бы это было дальше, я бы не смогла бы поменять свой статус назад на республиканца.
Да.
Так что это очень важно тоже проверять, когда вы идете в DMV через какое-то время, чтобы не была поменяна ваша информация.
Да, если вы сами тоже не выбираете, если вы в DMV ходите, они просто, если вы не даете какую-то информацию, они просто автоматически ставят вас на non-partisan или просто no party selection типа. И вот очень важно, чтобы это выбрать. И вот те кандидаты, которые с нами сегодня будут общаться, вы их не увидите на ваших бюллетенях, если вы не выбрали партию. В Орегоне так интересно, что в этих предварительных выборах вы можете или голосовать с республиканской партией или с демократской. И вот если вы зарегистрированы за демократов, тогда вы только видите демократов, кандидатов. Вы только будете видеть Джо Байдена и других кандидатов, а Трампа вы не будете видеть.
Да.
А уже в генеральные выборы, когда будут уже в ноябре, тогда уже увидите все. И, конечно, мы уже много раз объясняли, почему эти предварительные выборы очень важны. Мы не будем заходить еще раз сегодня. Просто знайте, что очень важно голосовать каждый раз. Каждый раз выборы постоянно голосуйте. И не забывайте, потому что это очень важно. И, может быть, мы в следующий раз также поговорим о важности этих выборов. Или нам наши гости тоже подскажут, когда мы перейдем на английский, можно сказать, часть этой передачи. Хорошо. Спасибо, что всех, кто подключились. Мы очень рады, что вы подключились. С нами сегодня Снежана. Снежана переживала по-русски говорить. Она говорит, что не очень хорошо говорит. Я слушаю и говорю, очень классно говоришь по-русски.
Ну, с акцентом, я думаю.
Это мы все так. It's okay. Спасибо, что ты пришла. Тогда мы будем начинать переходить на английскую часть этой передачи с нашими гостями. Я пытаюсь сейчас вспомнить, что мы еще забыли напомнить. Конечно, опять мы уже сказали, что вы недавно, кто живет в Вашингтоне, вы голосовали уже за президента, у вас уже были выборы. И вот если вы не получили бюллетень, не забудьте пойти на веб-сайт, чтобы вы могли обновить эту информацию, чтобы вы получили бюллетень уже на следующие выборы. В Вашингтоне будут, конечно, генеральные выборы в ноябре, но если не ошибаюсь, будет также в августе еще будут выборы с остальными кандидатами, которые будут баллотироваться вот на предварительные выборы. И вот если вы хотите голосовать в этих выборах, пожалуйста, регистрируйтесь и будете готовы. И, как обычно, заходите на наш веб-сайт slavicvote.com, slavicvote.org, и там вы можете найти информацию, которая будет нужна вам за кандидатов и так далее. Если вы не видите информацию, которую вы ищете, вы, конечно, можете, как всегда, заполнить такую часть на нашем сайте, где вы выбираете просто с нами контактироваться наперед, сразу напрямо. И вот если, может быть, вы не видите то, что вы хотите, но вы хотите помощь все равно, вы можете заполнять, и мы с вами будем в контакте сразу. И вот вы можете напрямую с нами сконтактироваться, и мы можем помочь вам с вашими бюллетенями. Также, если вы слушаете нас и вы находитесь в церкви, или вы имеете доступ к какое-то мероприятие, где вы хотели бы, чтобы мы приехали и провели нашу регистрацию или наши такие ивенты, где мы приезжаем и просто помогаем, информируем и регистрируем людей на голосование, обращайтесь тоже, мы будем рады, мы будем продолжать ездить по церквям, ездить по разным мероприятиям, где мы можем заполнять и регистрировать людей, чтобы они могли голосовать. И вот мы будем рады приехать к вам. Пожалуйста, обращайтесь. Я оставлю телефончик, который вы можете набрать и достать человека, который с вами поговорит. Скорее всего, это я подниму телефон. Значит, телефон запишите 971-244-2228. И еще раз 971-244-2228. Если какие-то вопросы, обращайтесь по этому тоже к нашему телефону. Мы будем рады помочь вам. Хорошо, я начну переходить на нашу английскую партию нашей передачи. Снежана, если есть что еще, ты хочешь добавить нашим слушателям, пожалуйста, добавь перед тем, как мы перейдем.
Да, я хочу добавить одну вещь, что это очень важно. Я знаю многие, которые голосуют. Мы голосуем для чего-то, да, это чтобы изменить ситуацию, которая сейчас происходит в Америке, в нашем штате особенно. И также я хочу encourage,
поощрить.
Да, нашу молодежь, чтобы они также вникали в это, потому что это очень важно для ихного поколения, и чтобы они тоже голосовали. И я знаю, что многие из наших есть, которые голосуют, а есть, которые не голосуют. Но это очень важно, Дима, чтобы все голосовали.
Да.
Потому что ихный голос, это ихние ценности. Так
Да.
что это очень важно, чтобы все голосовали.
Так точно. Конечно, когда мы говорим «все голосовать», это только которые граждане Америки.
Да,
но
или
я хочу,
регистрированные.
да, но я хочу также, чтобы, если вы слушаете, и вы приехали недавно с Украины, там, с России, из другой страны, и вы еще не граждане Америки, вы, конечно, не можете пока голосовать,
Да.
но вы можете участвовать другими методами. Вы можете, у нас, я знаю, есть некоторые ребята, которые с нами работают, они еще не граждане, и они нам помогают, с нами участвуют, и так они также быстрее научатся, будут готовы, когда уже они будут идти на тот тест, чтобы получать гражданство. И вот обращайтесь, будем рады с вами общаться, будем рады вас добавить в нашу команду, и с нами будете дальше работать в этой важной миссии. Мы также, мы с тобой, я не задал вопрос, я хотел спросить, что ты еще хочешь нашим слушателям сказать про тебя, может быть, что-то интересненькое, которое они не знают?
Про меня?
Да.
Не знаю, может кто-то, который меня знает, удивится, что я в политике, но это очень важно для меня, так как я здесь живу, и я хочу увидеть изменения для нашего штата.
Да. Ну, спасибо. Может, в следующий раз еще больше расскажешь про себя, но мы пока сейчас переходим уже на английский язык. Я извиняюсь наперед, если вы не понимаете и вы не сможете слушать нас. Конечно, оставайтесь, надеюсь, вы попробуйте послушать. Но мы переходим сейчас на английскую передачу. С нами два гостя, которые нам расскажут больше о себе. Можешь сказать их имена?
Да, первое, это у нас будет Сью Лесли, она баллотируется на House District 40, это Oregon City, Gladstone и места unincorporated в той эрии. И у нас также есть Дейна Хайдман Аллен с нами, и она баллотируется на Clackamas County Commissioner, третью позицию. Так что очень хорошие кандидаты обои, я их обои очень близко знаю, и я очень рада, что мы здесь, и спасибо за приглашение.
Отлично. Значит, у нас две позиции сегодня будет.
Да.
Один будет законоправитель позиция, а другой более такой в стороне такой больше как в округе.
Да.
Очень интересно. Спасибо большое. Значит, мы переходим и оставайтесь с нами. Спасибо большое. Well, welcome everybody. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being on our program Slavic Vote Live. I know we've been in communication many weeks, and I'm glad we're able to nail down a time and have you guys come. And thanks to Snezhana for expediting that, because it's a busy time. I would love to hand it off to Snezhana so she can maybe help us do some introductions, and maybe she can introduce herself really quick for those listeners who just tuned in for the first time in English, and then she can help us introduce you guys.
Excellent.
Yeah, absolutely. Hi, everyone. My name is Snezhana Safarov, and I have been in Clackamas County for quite some time. I grew up in the Portland area and currently live and reside in Clackamas County. And today with us, we have Sue Leslie, who's running for House District 40 State Representative for Oregon. This is a very important position, whether you live in House District 40 or not. It is very important because her voice is going to count for the entire state. So tell your friends, share the information, let everybody know. And then we have Dana Heineman Allen with us, who's running for Clackamas County Commissioner position 3. And Dana has been doing a lot, and this is your second time running. Yes. And so we're very excited to have her here and give us a little bit more information of what both of the candidates are going to do for us and what their values are and what they stand for.
Excellent. Well, Dana, we'll have you start off and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Perfect. Well, I'm really excited to be here. Thank you so much. It's great to sit down and have a good conversation and cover a lot of issues. So for the listeners, I am a native Oregonian. We've actually been here since the mid-1800s. My family, actually my great-great-aunt was the first woman ever to win a congressional seat in Oregon. So a lot of legacy in the family. So I moved out to Clackamas County about 24 years ago. I originally grew up in Portland. I went to Lincoln High School, went to Warner Pacific University. It's a Christian college. Graduated with my bachelor's in human development and minor in psychology. And I've been raising my children, who are now grown, and I have 3 grandchildren out in Sandy, and been deeply involved as far as like the community goes. I've been serving as a delegate to the Oregon Republican Party for the last 2 years. I am currently serving on the Clackamas Parks Board, Clackamas County Parks Board, since 2021. And I've been working on a civil rights and election security case for 2 years against the state elections office and the county elections office.
Excellent.
So
staying busy.
A lot going on. And ran for office twice.
Right, and your husband is with us today.
Yes.
And he's always with you and helping you out, and always busy as well.
I could not do it without my partner. My husband is essential
Well,
to my campaign.
I'm glad he's here today. Thank you for sharing that with us. We'll get back to you in just a second.
Absolutely.
Here, Sue, please tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, hello. Thank you so much for allowing me to come and visit with you and get introduced to you and your audience. My name is Sue Leslie. I'm running for House District 40, and that area just happens to be Oregon City, Gladstone, part of Milwaukee, part of Clackamas. It has quite a large area that it encompasses, but let me give you a little bit of backstory on who I am. I have a humble beginning. I came from a military family, which I would never change. I love the way that I was raised, and I was raised in different parts of this country and got to know it and love it. Moved to Oregon when I was 15, and so give you a little secret here. I've been here for over 40 years, so you kind of have an idea of my age. But and we all know that with age comes wisdom. So over the last 40 years, my heart's breaking because I see what's happening to the beautiful state of Oregon, and specifically what's happening in my district. And I have the wherewithal, I have the knowledge, I know how to make things work in this part of the county. And I want to bring my knowledge, I want to bring my energy, and I want to change things in Salem because I think we need a new, fresh perspective. I think what's been happening in Salem isn't working. And so I think that if people could really understand Dana and I and what we stand for, family, faith, country, I think that you'll understand that we are America first, and we love this country, and we're going to do everything we can to bring Oregon up off her knees. It's time.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
You're
thank
welcome.
you for that. Well, both of you, you've been running, this is your second race. This is your first time. Have you run for anything else before?
Thanks for asking. No, I have not run for a public office before, but I am a delegate to the Oregon Republican Party. I represent Clackamas County. I am involved in the Clackamas County Republican Party and have been for 5 or 6 years. Been behind the scenes helping other candidates win their races, so very, very involved.
Excellent, excellent. Well, one question that we always ask, and I think it's always interesting, how do people get involved in this kind of line of work? And we all have different stories. So please maybe share a couple minutes of what made you get involved, what made you get passionate about this, and how does one even get involved? Because it seems like it's such a small world, but there's a lot of avenues to get in here. So please tell us, our listeners, how to get that.
Certainly. So I am a real estate agent, and I've been at the kitchen table with people hearing about issues that they're facing as their families and raising children and deciding where they want to live based on, if it's a safe place, if the schools are good. So I've been deeply in touch with the public. How I got involved in politics was actually during the pandemic, when the government went too far and tried to strip people of their constitutional rights. And I mean, Kate Brown just went too far. All of a sudden, people had no rights to self-determine what they felt comfortable with and how to deal with it within their own families. And businesses were absolutely accosted and assaulted, being able to function and not make their own determination. So I got involved with activism in 2020. With Restore Oregon and Free Oregon, and trying to push back. And that, during that process, that led me to getting involved in the Republican Party, even though I've been a Republican since I was 18. And so I started then I took it the next level to run for office, because the only way activism is a great ground pushing force to funnel into the political arena, but really getting into office is where you actually can put your foot down and start really moving the needle and changing policy. So that inspired me to run. And I think getting involved as a PCP, I'm an elected PCP, I'm an elected delegate. And Clackamas County, obviously the position I'm running for is countywide. It's the whole county, even though it's a position. So I think getting involved, if people really want to get engaged, is sign up as a PCP and start getting involved, going to all your meetings. So this was my trajectory, and I think it's probably pretty common for people that I talk to in the political arena. That's how they started, is they got really issues that really fired them up. They started taking action. So I think that's the best way, is follow your passion.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Sue. What's your story?
Thank you. So again, I'll go back to, I've been watching the decline of what I consider to be our government in the state. And it concerns me when I sit back and I watch the bills that are being passed in Salem, and how all of a sudden we're becoming a socialism state. And I believe that Oregon is basically the testing ground for what they can get away with. And once they see, the rest of the country sees what Oregon is doing and what they're getting away with, they're going to project into the other parts of the country. So it concerns me. And I don't think Salem has a huge grip on that yet. I don't think they're understanding that. So, looking back, like Dana, I helped with, where I got really involved was on the recall for Kate Brown, and just met people face to face and learned their concerns. And quite frankly, ran into people who were in love with Kate Brown, and just tried to have a one-on-one conversation with them to understand there's other things that we can do to make this state better. And the thing about running for my position, I had to get off the bench and in the game, because I sat there too long and watched things decline. And one of them that made me get off the bench was House Bill 2002. They're after our children. They're after them. They've dumbed them down in the schools. They're making the standards the worst in the country, and they don't plan on changing it till the year of 2027. They've come out and said, no, we're not going to raise our standards back up to where they should be till 2027. We can't have that. They're after our children. We have got to protect our children. And I'm telling you, House Bill 2002 was the worst thing, was the biggest joke they played on the state of Oregon in history. 15-year-olds can now go to their counselors at school, get abortions without their parents knowing. They can go in and start the procedures to change their sexual identity without their parents knowing. And guess who's picking up the tab? That's us. It's not okay. If I get elected into office, that's going to be one of the first things that I want to change. We need to protect our children. That's the one that got me off the bench. That's one of the ones that I'm going to go after. I want to bring back prosperity to this state. We're lacking. I mean, families, how do they survive? So you can see I can get passionate, but I mean, law and order. Let's talk about law and order. It's awful in the state now. We need to fund our police. We need to prosecute these hard criminals. We need to prosecute people who can't seem to realize there's laws with these hard drugs. So, I mean, that's some of the things that I'm passionate about that, you know, quite frankly, the legislature in Oregon is a dumpster fire. And somebody needs to get down there and have a reasonable voice to try to get them to listen to reason. So that's why I want to be involved. That's why I want to bring Oregon back to prosperity.
Well, thank you. Thank you for sharing that. I definitely hear a lot of passion with both of you, and we'll continue that discussion. A question that I had for Snezhana, and maybe we can have a little discussion about this. As both of us know, you know, the community, you know, I think for a while they haven't voted. They just basically kind of sat back, and then they finally decided to vote and get involved. And then, you know, we had the 2020 election, and a lot of them are, you know, kind of second guessing, you know, what happened. How do you, you know, what do you tell folks when you talk to them in the Slavic community? You know, why does it even make sense? Does it even matter? You know, when it comes to elections, does my voice go anywhere? What do you tell folks like that? And I know we have listeners today that are probably, you know, saying the same thing. And what would you tell them that are on the fence about voting, on the fence about getting involved? You know, does it actually make a difference?
That's a great question, Dima. Thank you for that. It absolutely makes a difference. Whether you think your vote counts or not, I think we all have some speculation with how voting went prior. But I absolutely think that no matter what, your voice needs to be heard. And when we talk about, Dana brought up a bit about her lawsuit that's happening right now, and you know, things like that. If it goes through and things happen, there's going to be recourse for that. And so people are going to be able to go back and look at those ballots and recount them. And that's really important. But if we sit back and say, you know what, it didn't work out last time, there's no point for me. No, you have to be in the game. You cannot drop out, because that is exactly what they want us to do. They don't want us to have faith in our own voting. And I know when I took my naturalization citizenship test, one of the things on the questions that it asks you is, or not asked you, but it says that it is your right, it is your one duty as a U.S. citizen is to vote. So I would encourage everybody, no matter where you stand or how you may be feeling, don't let your vote go to waste. Make that vote count. That is what I say to people. And I would encourage everybody to encourage their friends, because I know there's conversations happening. So absolutely tell everybody to vote, no matter where they stand on the issue, but just vote.
Awesome. Well, sounds good. As we're going to transition to our second part and continue the questions, Snezhana, if you have any questions you want to ask, you're welcome to. While you're preparing for that, I'll just do a quick shout out to some of our sponsors. We wouldn't be able to be here without them. And of course, one of our sponsors is Pelmeni. We thank them for their sponsorship, for their donations, and we of course encourage you to visit them. They have a food cart. They have also dumplings. That's titled. They're named Ciberoni. They're delicious dumplings. So please check them out. They are located in most Russian stores. You can visit them and pick up their dumplings. Again, Ciberoni is the name. I think you ladies would also appreciate them. There's a food cart located just about 15 minutes from here, and they have a really good selection of different Russian dumplings. And again, you can actually go and eat them and where they serve them hot and delicious at the food cart called Pelmeni. So we do want to give them a shout out. And there's many other sponsors that we have also. The other one I want to highlight, one of our newer sponsors, is Igor Martinov or Igor. Ivanov, and he is one of our new sponsors for this year, and we want to thank him for his sponsorship and his production company that does a lot of marketing. We want to thank him for that, and if you're listening and you would like to join our sponsorship Gold Club, please let us know. Reach out by that number I'll give you here just a second. We'd love to add you to the list and help continue this program and help continue our mission with Slavic Vote. Again, the phone number you can call is 971-244-2228. Once again, 971-244-2228. And you can also visit our website. More information there. You can also see some of the options that you have, and we'd love to connect and tell you more about this. So if you're listening, if you'd like to get involved, please reach out. We would love to get you involved. And there's a lot of ways. And as you heard today, there's ways you can run for office. That's one way to get involved. You can run for a PCP position, which is more of a kind of one of the lowest and smallest elected positions, which doesn't, you can kind of be as involved as you want or as little as you want. Of course, the more the better.
Exactly.
But it's always a great way to just get your feet wet and kind of see where you want to go next. And of course, there's other ways like going with us to different registration drives and getting involved that way. So please get involved. It's an exciting year. I know this is the time of the year that everybody or a lot of people are actually starting to pay attention. And unfortunately, it's a little bit too late at this point, but it's not. But it's still. Please get involved. Just remember, there's elections every single year. There's elections sometimes a couple times a year. And like this year, we just had a Washington primary election just happened. We're gonna have another Oregon primary coming up here in a couple months that you ladies are gonna be on, and then we're gonna have another primary election in Washington that's gonna include the rest of the candidates. And then there's going to be a general election, and there's probably going to be some special election in between all that. So a lot of options.
One thing I want to call out, it's never too late, Dima, never too late. But too late right now to, if you wanted to run for office, yes, absolutely. But there's a lot of work that can be done, helping our candidates, supporting our candidates financially, boots on the ground, walking, knocking doors, dropping off flyers. So there's still work. So if you guys want to get involved, please do so. And we would be happy to show you the ropes and walk you through it. And a lot of it is meeting people, and you get to interact with people and get the community involved, be part of the community. So I think that's really important as well.
And probably when I say that, it's probably not the best phrasing. What I meant was some folks think they can just get it, vote in one election and turn things around right away. It takes time. And also, the primaries are kind of a way to pick out a better candidate. And unfortunately, a lot of folks, when they open up the ballots in the general election, they're like, why is there all these two terrible candidates? Well, during the primary election, there was a lot of great candidates, and because people don't vote on all the primaries, they don't get a chance to advance and be the general candidate. So we always see, great candidates who unfortunately never get to go to the general because they don't make it through the primaries. And it's because not a lot of people vote in the primary election. So please understand that, and we would have so many better candidates if people were actually involved in the primaries. And if we actually did vote in large scale in the primaries, we could dominate the state. So that's not a topic for another day. Well, Snezhana, I don't know if you have any questions. I have some questions. You're welcome to jump in. I've been asking all the questions. So if you have any questions to our guest, go ahead. If not, then I'll continue.
Yeah. I'll start with you, Dana. But can you touch base a little bit and tell us a little bit more of the things that you would do for Clackamas and the change that you want to see? What is your number one issue that you would really want to see change within Clackamas?
To narrow it down, there are a lot of issues. I think number one thing that I will demand ethical and honest leadership. And I think when we're talking about the pillars of society, in our education system, in our government, in the protocols, the procedures, if we don't have ethical, honest leaders, the rest dissolves. So I will demand of the departments and the board that everything we do comes from a returning the government to the people, engaging with the people. My number one thing that, if you really want me to boil it down, is the biggest problem we have right now in Oregon is people are not able to redress their grievances. If they have problems with any particular part of the government, they feel like they're not heard, they're not adhered to, and they do not have a voice at the table. So that is the number one thing that I want to bring, is I want to have everybody get involved. Come talk to me, tell me what your issues are, and I'm not going to stay in my lane. Like when I talk about the county, we've got county, state, federal, but I can get in touch with Sue and we can teamwork issues, just like Measure 110. Commissioners got involved. They shared their concerns. They voiced their opposition to Measure 110 being still current, that they wanted it modified. So I will do that as a commissioner. I will completely stay in my lane and go out of my lane when necessary. So getting the people involved in government, having ethical and honest leadership is the most important.
Awesome.
Thank you.
That's great. And then how from a citizen perspective, where do you see the most value for citizens to come and address their grievances with the county or with a particular department? Is that attending the meetings? Because there are meetings that take place that happen within the county where the public is welcome, all the citizens are welcome to attend. But are there any other ways? And what do you think would be an important aspect for people to get engaged and involved?
I think coming to meetings is a great start. You're going to connect with other like-minded people. You're going to get to talk. You're going to find out who is, advocating for what in the county you live in. So I think going to the meetings, getting out there, being seen, and talking to people is a great start. You can write, you can email, you can make calls to all your legislators, your county commissioners. But I think it's just really taking that step, knowing that it's extremely important if you're having issues in the county or in the legislature to be able to access people that can make the change, help make the change.
Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely. Awesome. And then Sue, for you, one of the questions I have, you mentioned a lot about the House Bill 2002.
Right.
And when you're in office, when you're elected to office, how do you see that process, or where would you start to make that change?
Well, first of all, you have to be able to understand the bill, and it's long, and they've done quite a good job at confusing, putting a lot of language in it. So it's going to have to be basically broken up into sections and just readdress it, because it's such a harmful thing to families, to parents' rights. I mean, let's look at this from a different perspective. As a 15-year-old, you can't even drive a car yet. I mean, you're just really coming into being a teenager, and we all know what that's like. I mean, you can't think straight sometimes. You're just worried about what other people think of you. And so to have a 15-year-old make life-altering decisions without their parents is just ungodly. It's incredibly wrong. So the House Bill 2002 needs to be wiped out, as far as I'm concerned, just removed completely. So I would actually work with my party to try to get that going down the road. That would be one of the first things I would do. So, and I just want to just clarify something. When we mentioned the word PCP, I want you to understand that stands for Precinct Committee Person. So I know we're using a little lingo, inside lingo there, so I just want to make sure you understand what that means. And it's a great way to start in the government. So get out the vote, if I may take just a moment. Yep. Get out the vote. Let me explain something to you. Snejana touched on it. It is so important that you vote this year. This year is the make or break deal for our country. And it starts with us. It starts with each and every one of us. Vote early. Vote early so that we can track your ballot and we can go after and ask the other people, like-minded people like us, to vote. We can track it. When they don't vote, we can go knock on their door and say, please vote. We noticed you haven't voted. So I know that's a long-winded answer, but at least you kind of know some inside scoop on some stuff.
Yeah, no, and I appreciate that. That's definitely good information to know, so thank you for that.
You bet.
May I make a comment on that 2002 bill?
Yeah, absolutely.
The 2002 bill fully is unacceptable. Parents need to have their rights protected. I'm a huge civil rights advocate, and I believe that parents have the right to to know what their children are learning, to be involved in the curriculum. If there's things, the biggest problem we're having is it's not age appropriate curriculum. And parents should be able to opt out. I have a history in the school district. I was in the school district for 11 years at one part in my former life. And having that ability to opt out of something you don't believe in, that rubs you wrong, it doesn't fit with your value system, is key. So I just wanted to say that is just a horrendous bill that needs to be repealed.
Yeah,
Well,
absolutely.
Thank you for sharing. Both of you, are you guys, so the primaries, do you guys have any other, I guess, individuals who are up against you, or are you both going to pass through and go to the general right away?
Go ahead, Dana.
So the incumbent I have, that is the person that's been in office for multiple years, is in the race, and then there is another contender that's in the race. So there's 3 of us
Three.
altogether.
Got
Yes.
it. And how about you?
I'm sorry.
Yes, there is another individual in the primary that decided to file for the position 2 days before the file date. I've been involved since November 29th trying to make this work, so I've got about almost a 4-month leap on that person. So
Got it. Well, we're hoping you'll get through that, and we'll see you in November, and that's when will be pretty much the final vote, and to get you through the finish line. Well, yeah, please. So we'll we're about 10 minutes away from the end of this program. I wanted to just finish on a couple things. And you can definitely talk more about where people can find more information, where they can get involved and things like that. But we always like to continue bring a lot of education to these programs. Please maybe take 5 minutes. Tell us a little bit about the position itself. What does it mean? What is it involved? Why is it important? The position, the commissioner and the legislator. What does it take? And then finish it off with how folks can get involved and help you out, and either financially or physically and so on. So whoever wants to start first. So go ahead.
Oh, either one.
Either one.
Okay. So county commissioner is in control of the budget, is partnering with the budget. So that is for all county operations. So roads, internal departments, they have human services departments. We've got the parks board, parks department, all the facets of the county that make up like the clinics, all of that. We're in charge of that budget, the public safety budget, which I'm extremely in support of having public safety. We cannot have our standards lowered for crime, vandalism, all those things. No way. We cannot have that in the county. We don't want what's happened to Portland to happen in Clackamas County. So really in charge of all the budget in Clackamas County and the decision-making, policies, ordinances, all those types of things happen in the county. So it's an extremely important position that really influences your property taxes, keeping the cost of living lower in the county, because we really can mitigate, that you've got the state that is, raising taxes, it seems like every couple weeks almost. I mean, it's absurd. So the county can mitigate and keep some of that control with keeping the property taxes low. Like in Multnomah County, they're adding other taxes on top of just property taxes. So we can keep all of that away from the tax, having more taxes on top of our property taxes. So really stop bad policies and bills from being kind of injected with like Metro and things that really could start to infiltrate our county. So really keeping my priority, I'm very fiscally conservative. I absolutely think we should do with what we have, really restructure things without adding a more of a cost of living burden to people. So it's extremely important, and it is a powerful position to be able to exercise keeping cost of living and quality of life and really setting example. I want to set an example. Clackamas County is doing a pretty good job. I mean, ideally, a lot of people leave Multnomah County and they go to Clackamas County because of quality of life. We have a little more standards with our public safety. So really keeping that at the forefront. And so that is why it's so essential for you to really research your next county commissioner. And if you'd like to learn more, you can visit my website at dana4oregon.com. It's Dana, D-A-N-A, 4FOR Oregon.com, and learn all about, kind of my stances, my positions, and also can you take a look at the case that I have. So
Awesome.
Thank you so much.
And I believe in that same race, a mayor for Clackamas is also running for election, Tuda Smith, right?
Yes.
So yeah,
Yes,
so
Judy Smith is running.
perfect. She will have her on hopefully soon, and
Excellent.
she'll tell us. We didn't get too much into the tolling, but I know that's been kind of
Oh my goodness.
big thing that
Yes.
we haven't talked to about. But we'll talk to her more, and we'll leave that subject for that
I
conversation.
stand against tolling firmly.
Right.
I think all of us
That's
probably
called
do.
an extra cost of living. That includes that. We want to keep that out.
Right, right. Well, thank you, and we'll finish off with
Absolutely.
you, Dana, after Sue, and then you'll tell us a little bit about the lawsuit that you wanted to talk about, just for the last couple minutes, and we'll finish off with that, please.
So I'm going to start off by telling you how you can reach out to me. It's SueLeslie4Oregon.com, and Leslie spelt Leslie, so SueLeslie4Oregon.com. You can learn the principles that I have and what I stand for. I'm just going to briefly give you an overview of some of the things that are what I consider to be the hot topics that I think that need to be addressed right away. We have out of control crime. That's one of them. We have rampant homelessness. We have a growing drug use, the Measure 110 that we've been talking about. We have burdens on small business. I mean, we've got regulations, we've got taxes. I mean, how do we have these small businesses survive? Those small businesses are actually creating jobs for our community. And I'll touch on that with tolling. Just because the governor has said, oh, we're going to stop the tolling, no, we're not going to do this anymore, don't buy into that. I can tell you right now, I've been doing my research, and the tolling is not going away. They're just putting it on the back burner. The Oregon Transportation Commission made it clear they're leaving the door open for tolling in the future. So they've already spent $6 million to implement this tolling program. They're not going anywhere. They're just pushing it back until after the election.
And I hear they're still continuing hiring people and preparing
Yes.
everything. So they're saying, but they're not.
Correct. Yeah. So if you see that petition around, stop, vote before tolls, please sign it. We need to get that on the ballot so that we can make sure that in the future this tolling thing can't be just pushed in front of us and moved out without the public voting on it. So those are a couple of the issues. I'm very involved with education. I want to restore law and order. I want to help fund the police. I mean, I could go on, but those are some of the things that I really am passionate about. Plus the fact that the government needs to get out of our homes. They need to stop over-governmentaling us. They just need to go to Salem, do their job, and let us be us. Stop mandating everything left and right, and take some of those powers away from the governor with the executive orders, because come on, let's be serious. Some of them are ridiculous. So I can, as you say, I can get very passionate about this, but those are some of the things that I think that we need to stay in tune with, our economic prosperity, the schools, the taxes, and those are the things that I want to tackle when I make it to Salem. So I really appreciate you allowing me to talk, and I can go on forever. I can get on a soapbox, and I'm there if anybody wants to reach out to me if you have any questions.
Tell us briefly about the position itself, and what does it entail, and what would you be responsible for?
Well, the position itself is one of a number of positions within the state at the House of Representatives. So you got the House, and then you got the Senate. Now, here's the other thing I'm going to brag a little bit about myself is I can talk to anybody. And the thing is, I can usually find common ground with just about anybody. So one of the things that I learned early, I worked for a state representative as his assistant back in '97, was, you can have your opinion, but one of the important things that you need to do is realize that other people have an opinion too. You need to listen to them, and you may learn something. You may learn something you didn't know. And so when you do that and you listen to the other side, you really do have common ground. Well, you start to understand their perspective, and you can start to work together. So I have that ability. That's what I want to take to Salem. I don't want the left side, the right side. I want us to work together to bring Oregon back to what it used to be. It used to be a very livable state. It used to be sought after. It used to be one of those places that people wanted to come live. I want to bring that back. I know I can do that if I can just get down to Salem. Vote early, vote in the primary, and vote for Sue Leslie.
And that's one thing that I want to quickly cover, because I know in the past we've always talked about vote, the day of, and that kind of like changed now, where we're hearing about early. And I don't know, I think maybe Dana, since you're involved in that lawsuit,
Yes.
you can tell us a little bit about that and why it's important to vote early.
Absolutely. So just to break it down, is I've been involved in a lawsuit because in the primary in 2022, actually my partner in the lawsuit, she saw the votes going down by the thousands on the morning of Memorial Weekend on a Sunday when everybody was, finishing off their entering into the summer. So she took timestamp screenshots. We tried to get it resolved, like through all the channels, protocols. We filed formal complaints to the state and the county, and to try to find out what happened. Also, there were 60% of the barcode ballots that were unreadable. So there was just a combination of some things that were very unethical. So we tried to get to the bottom of it. Anyway, the default response of the government was, if you don't like it, go to court. Well, I've got a problem with that, because that just bars about 90% of people from ever being able to get to the bottom of something. And that could be many things. It could be if there's something wrong with, benefits or this or something, anything. It could be anything in the government. And if you cannot address and redress what's wrong without going to court, most people don't have the financial wherewithal to do it, or the time, or all that. So essentially, we decided to file a formal suit, pro se, which is no attorney. So this is citizens deciding that they drew the line and said the government needs to show us what happened. As a matter of fact, we've taken it all the way to the Supreme Court of the United States, 2 citizens that want the ship righted.
Which is amazing. I think that is amazing that it has gone so far. I mean, it's unfortunate,
Yes.
So
congratulations
so
to you guys to
is
getting
it
it there.
scheduled already to?
Justice Kavanaugh has reviewed the petition. The writ of certiorari is what it's called, and they've reviewed it, and they sent it back to the appellate court. They did not reject it. We were in the federal court for 10 months. They said we have redressability and Article 3 standing. Then they got scared, and they dismissed it. Then we took it to the Supreme Court. Supreme Court asked us to go back to the appellate court, and we are in the appellate court right now. So what I'm saying to the Slavic community is, it matters how you get in action. You can do it. You can get involved, and you can make a difference. We just decided that's it. The government's gone too far. They forgot who really runs the government. It's all of us here. It's all of you. We are the ones that are going to take our society to a better and higher plane. It's us.
Absolutely.
We're not waiting for other people. We're getting involved. So that is testament to the power of conviction, to be able to go out and follow through and do something when you know it needs to be done. So
Yes.
we're waiting. So it's for civil rights, our civil rights, and election security, so we all can feel secure and go and vote. So vote, vote, vote.
Absolutely. Well, I appreciate that. That was
Thank
very
you.
powerful, and we can just replay that again. And I think we can have that on loop. Snejana, thank you for being here. I know that
Thank you for
we're
having me.
just about done. We're unfortunately wrapping up our program. Any last questions that you might have had that you wanted to ask our guests?
Not questions, but I did want to say thank you to the Slavic community. Thank you for your guys' support, and thank you to Sue and Dana for coming on and talking about who you are and where you've come and what you're going to do for Oregon to make a change, because we are in a state that truly needs the change. God knows that, we all know it.
Oh, yeah.
So, and I would encourage everybody to not sit on the couch, don't stay home, get out and help. Both of these candidates could use the help. Any candidate, even in your districts, could use the help. So if you need a way to reach out, Dima, maybe we can post something on our social media and of how people can reach out and explain more about the involvement and who they can contact. But there are ways to get involved, and so don't be shy. If anybody has questions, feel free to message me on Facebook or ask me, and I'd be happy to answer and help people.
Of course, and like I mentioned before, you can find a place where you can submit a request, how to get involved, and having one of us reach out and help you navigate all that. And again, of course, on our website, slavicvote.org is the place to go where you can, find all the information you need and also submit a request to be reached out by one of us to help you navigate that. And of course, you can also reach us on the phone number that I already mentioned before, and I'll repeat again, 971-244-2228. And once again, 971-244-2228. And that's the number that you can reach, and one of our team members will help you out. Well, thank you so much, Snezhana. We'll have to have you come back because
Thank you.
I had a lot of fun having you help us out with this. And I appreciate our guests. Thank you for
Thank you so much for
taking
having
action.
us. A really great discussion. It's nice to relax and be able to spread out and talk about a lot of different topics. So
For
thank
sure.
you.
I wish we had more time, but unfortunately, it's coming to an end. We'll be following and seeing how that goes. And
Thank you.
folks can find your information on the websites that you already mentioned. Quickly mention one more time.
Dana for Oregon, DANAFOR Oregon.com. DanaForOregon.com. Thank you.
And Sue.
It's Sue Leslie for Oregon.com. It's SUELESLIEFOR Oregon.com.
Yep. And if you want to connect with them directly, you can find them on their website. You can find, their social pages. You can also reach out to us. We're more than happy to connect. Snezhana is also on social media. Please reach out. And like always, I always say, find our previous programs if you want to learn more about these things. We've talked about this over and over. We've talked about other things. You can find all of our programming on our YouTube page. You can also find it on our website, on Facebook, on Instagram. All those places are a great place to go and get connected and learn more. So thank you for coming in, both of you, all three of you. And we'll have you come back sometime soon. And
Sounds good.
we'll stay in touch, and I'll see you guys around.
Sounds great.
Thanks
again.
to the studio. Thanks to Andre and his help, and thanks to Slavic Vote, Slavic family, and everybody else who's tuned in today and every time. So once again, there's an election coming up this year. Everybody knows November, but most people don't know that there's going to be an election in a couple months, May
12th.
21st.
Where
May 21st.
21st
Exactly.
May
primary.
21st.
so both of you are going to be on there. So just put this in your calendar. May is going to be a big election day, a month. So make sure you're prepared for that. Again, that's a primary. In Russian, it would be called предварительные. So make sure you are pay attention to that, and make sure you're up to date on your registration. Make sure you register if you're not, and make sure you are aware of what's going on. And like always, if you need help, reach out. There's going to be resources on our website, and we'll be happy to help you. So May is going to be a big election year or month. Also, I believe August for Washington, and November, of course. And then just keep an eye on your eye out on our website, on our social media pages for all updates when it comes to elections. So thank you for tuning in. Thank you again for being here.
Thank you for
Snezhana,
having
Dana,
us.
Sue,
It's wonderful.
and Slavic family, thank you for having us. We'll see you guys next week. Have a good day.